I'd like to talk about my mother and what I had to go through with her. Um, First of all, I did have good times with my mother and father. I did have good times. There were some good times there. But when I went through some difficult, hard times with my mother and father, that's what stays in my mind. That's what I remember the most. The hurt and pain, sadness that came from it. I understand why I had to go through this with him. I went through a lot with both of my parents. I got a lot of wounds from them. I went through a lot in high school, people in high school, my last 2 years. I also went a lot through my work experiences, people in my life, things that just weren't good for me, situations that weren't good with people in my life, work, and school. But my parents are the ones who left me with the worst trauma. My father and my mother. When I went to school, it's about the same time I had to deal with things that were going bad for me at home with my mom, my parents, especially from my mother. It got so bad that when I used to leave school, I used to walk home. And I just remember looking up at my parents' home, about a block away, and looking around at all the other homes and wishing I had a different place to go to, different place to live. And I used to walk up to the house and wonder how things were going to be when I went inside. 'Cause I went through a lot of hollering and cussing at me from both parents. Mostly my mother though. Mostly my mom. So I always wondered how it was going to be when I got inside. When I get home, I always had that little feeling of hope everything's gonna be okay, going inside. Sometimes I walked in, I was able to make it to my room and it was good. I had some good days. There were times I walked in, walking towards my room, and hollering and cussing started at me. Then there were times I just walked into the house and hollering and cussing started me right away as soon as I stepped inside. And there were times I walked up to the house. I heard a hollering and cussing already going on. So I'd go in. Sometimes it was good for me, and sometimes it was bad. But my mom put me through the worst hurtful times in my life. She did. My father did too. So not only did I have to deal with people at high school that were putting me through some hard and difficult times, I also had to come home and deal with what my parents were putting me through. I had good times with my parents. I know. I did. I remember them. But what I remember the most is the most hurtful times and everything bad that happened between me and my parents that they put me through. Parents put me through some hard times, really hard times. My mom would holler at me, cuss at me, a lot, a lot. So when she'd holler and cuss at me, she used to tell us to clean the. Well, me and my sister had a choice. One would clean the living room and bathroom, everything, like vacuum and dust off everything, wipe up everything in the bathroom, clean everything in there. And then the other one would do dishes, clean the kitchen, the tables, and clean the pantry. Me and my sister did this every about 5 days. Oh, during the week, we get the weekends off, but we did it during the week. When we would switch. One of us would clean the bathroom and one would clean the kitchen. Or not the bathroom, but the living room and the bathroom. And one would clean the kitchen area. So we switched back and forth daily. But my mom used to holler at us, get us going. Just hollering and cussing at us. I had a lot of anxiety from that. A lot of fear developed from that. Afraid. Because sometimes I got hit and beat for it. For, I don't know. It just happened. So when they'd holler and cuss at us and tell us to get up and help clean the house, I'd go in there and do what they wanted me to do. Whether, if I was cleaning the living room or the bathroom, or not bathroom, but kitchen. But when I was cleaning, sometimes I got beat for it. I mean, just hollering at the top of her lungs and just had this anger inside her, just wanted to beat me, and she would. You see, I can see the beatings if I was an unruly child and I didn't want to do what they wanted me to do, not talk back to them, maybe even cussed at them. I could see the beatings being justified then. Something I deserved for doing that. But I got up and did what they wanted me to do. At times I got beat for it, not all the time. I hollered and cussed at lots, but when I got beaten for doing what they wanted me to do, that's what sticks in my mind. That hurt me. It did. Gave me a lot of sadness. So when that started, I didn't know what to think. Afraid, scared, feeling hurt. Trying to hold back the tears while trying to clean the house. There's one incident that I really remember the most. It sticks in my mind because they had shelves, and I was cleaning off the shelves. You take everything out, dust off the shelf, and put everything back on. That's what I was doing. And when I was doing this, my mom started hitting me from behind, beating on me. And I was trying to maintain my balance, being hit from behind and trying to clean up the shelves at the same time. I do believe there was one incident where I was pushed, from behind, and I fell into the shelves. Also, too, when I was vacuuming, I can remember sometimes I'd beat from behind. They used to beat us with a yardstick. At least me. I know that. Then there's a belt. I remember the belt. Then all these beatings of a lot of hollering and cussing. A lot of hollering and cussing at me. The top of her lungs. Her voice made me scared. I mean, it sounded just mean and hateful. This made me scared of it. I was afraid of most of the time. Fear. Just in my teenage years. I remember one incident, another incident, I was cleaning, doing the dishes. I was cleaning the kitchen this time. And my mom had the belt and she was beating me from behind while I was doing the dishes. And during these beatings, I used to try to maintain my, I'll try to keep my tears back. Try not to cry. And I remember when she was beating me with that belt when I was doing dishes, being hit, you trying to hold your balance and stuff, behind. I remember this one incident where this one time she was beating me as I was doing dishes, and the belt she had was coming around to my right of my face. And it feels like it's played in slow motion. And that belt buckle, I seen it come right towards me and hit me right in my nose. Hit me right in my nose. And that belt and that belt buckle as it's swinging around the side of my head plays in my mind in slow motion. I know it really didn't happen that way. I mean, it was fast, quick. But when I think of it, it's this slow motion coming at me. It's barely coming this slow, that belt. It hits me in my face. That belt buckle hurt. Hit me square in the nose. I didn't know how much damage it did. The nose wasn't broken. But I remember touching my nose accidentally about a couple days later after that incident, and my nose was still sore. The only thing I could think, wow, I said, my nose is still sore from that belt buckle hitting my face. That was like about 2 days later. My mom used to holler at me like the top of her voice, saying some hurtful words. But I had to go through that. Why I had to, I had no idea. I mean, I did what they wanted me to do. I wasn't, like I said, an unruly child. Wasn't mean to them. I didn't try to be any help towards them. I tried to do everything I could. But I had to go through those beatings. Not all the time. A lot of hollering and cussing at me, but the beatings, when they happened, that's what I remember the most. So I used to get beat for cleaning the house, what they asked me to do for them. That went on for, oh boy, years. Not every day, but over years. I was had to go through that one over years. And it got so bad, the hollering and beatings I went through, that the neighbors across the street, a husband and wife, used to come and check on me while I was going through the beatings. They'd come up and knock on the door. They'd ask me if I was okay. They wouldn't speak to my parents. They just asked me if I was okay. At times I didn't know what to say. I just mostly I said, I'll be alright, you know. I just didn't want things to get worse if I was to say something else. So I always said I was okay. Everything would be fine. Holding the tears back, watery eyes. Even though I wasn't okay, I said that anyways because if I said something else, I don't know what was going to happen to me. And I didn't want to bring anything more on me. So yeah, neighbors from across the street used to come and check on me. I knew the whole town knew. Small town, so I knew everyone knew. Reason why how I knew this is that when I was in school or around my friends, or one of my parents showed up or coming towards me to pick me up, my parents used to say, oh, you better hurry up, get right here. Here comes your mom and here comes your dad. Better hurry up so you don't get beat up, you know. They used to say that to me. And I tried to just play it down, even though I knew that was a possibility that could happen. So, this lady who was younger than me, I can't remember how she got a hold of me, but she wanted to meet me down the street from my house. So I went and met her. And all she wanted to know was how I was handling everything. Like my well-being, my mental status. How was I dealing with everything? Because she heard, she knew. She knew what I was going through. And she wanted to see how I was handling everything. I was alright. That surprised me, really. First time I ever had somebody do that to me. Wanted to check, see how it was. Well, besides the people that checked on me for when I was getting beat. But that's another, she surprised me by doing that. Didn't expect that. But she wanted to see how I was holding up with everything I was going through. She heard everything. She knew what I was going through. Then, years later, there's two other ladies I would meet. One was a neighbor who lived next door to us. And years later, she told me how sorry she was for the beatings I went through with my mother. She heard, she was right next door. The beatings were loud. My mom hollered at the top of her voice when she beat me. But she told me she was so sorry for me. She felt so sorry about what I was going through with my parents. And later on, I met another lady who was out drinking. And she happened to be drinking, and I just ran into her. And she was my relative, actually. I was the same age as her son. That's how I knew her son. But anyhow, she told me she heard what I was going through, and she said she tried to talk to my mom about it. She called her up, tried to tell her, you shouldn't be doing that to your son. You know, try to talk to her. She said, I tried to talk to your mom, but tell her not to be doing that. You shouldn't be putting your son through what you're doing, your beatings and stuff. So she tried. I don't know if it had any effect on my mother. That's what I had to go through with my own mother. The words I had to hear from my father too. Like he used to tell me, "I'll kill you. I will kill you." He used to say that to me. Then my mom, words she'd tell me is that, "I wish you were never born." She'd say that to me. These words will stay with me for the rest of my life. They've been with me this long, so I know they'll be there for the rest of my life. Then another issue would come up, or two issues: the bathroom and showering. With my mother. And it seemed just to be with me. I do remember a few incidents with my mom. When I'd go in the bathroom, my mom used to beat on the door and tell me, "Hurry the fuck up and get out." I do remember a few incidents with my sisters that were in the bathroom and she'd beat on the door, but it seemed to happen more frequently with me. Every time I went in there, it seems like, boy, they were there just banging on the door, telling me to hurry up, get out. And every time I come out, my mom would say, "Oh, something crawl up your ass and die." Like I took a crap or something, I didn't even get a chance to do anything. There were times I just got in there and I didn't even get a chance to do anything. They were there beating on the door already. So I just opened up the door and let them have the bathroom. I remember saying that walking into my room to myself. I didn't even get a chance to do anything. You were just there beating on the door, so I gave you the bathroom. So yeah, she used to come and beat on the bathroom door when I was in there. So I try to get sneaky by using the bathroom. So sometimes I waited when she went. And when she would go, then I'd say, "Oh, okay, well, it must be good, I can go now." And she won't be beating on that bathroom door. But no. There have been a few times I've done that and she was beating on the door. So I said, I just can't help but thinking that, geez, you just went. You gotta use it again? That happened. I don't know what to think. I mean, then I thought, well, maybe she has a bad stomach or something. I don't know. But I had to go through that with my own mother. And then showering became an issue. Bathroom, showers in the bathroom. So first, I would go in there with all my stuff, the towel, my shampoo and soap. Then they'd beat on the door. So I'd come out, let them use the bathroom. Then I'd take my shower. And then I think they got more sneakier because they waited till I was in the shower. Then they started beating on the door. My mom would. Then I have to hurry up and finish my shower so fast. Wash up fast as I can. Then dry out, put my clothes on, and get out of the bathroom so she can use it. And sometimes she'd beat on the door until I was out of the bathroom. She'd quit then. Cussing at me, hollering at me. See, sometimes I got hit for, when I come out of the bathroom, when they wanted to use it. Mostly got cussed at though. Hollered at. No, always the same words. My mom always had these words. I mean, it's the same ones. Like something crawled up my ass and died. And I'm in my room saying, I didn't even do anything. I was just taking a shower. That's all I did in there. Stuff I had to go through. So I got more sneakier. I had to use the bathroom. Everyone else got to use it in the family. It just seemed like when I tried to, it just turned out bad for me. So I got sneakier. When I went to school, I used the bathroom before I left school. Tried to, so I wouldn't have to use it at home. Or I use the bathroom somewhere along the way from business stores, Sorry, I got tongue tied there. Stores. And use their bathrooms before I went home. It helped some, but not all the time. I eventually had to still use the bathroom at home. So in wintertime, the heater would come on and it would be so loud that it would cover my noise. I'm trying to be quiet. It would cover me. So I'd wait for the heater to come on. And when it came on, I'd sneak into the bathroom and use it and get out before the heater turned off. I had to become sneaky like that. And showering too. My parents like to go visit their friends during the evening times. So I usually waited until they were gone. One time, the first time I tried that, I got caught. Because I seen them leave. They said they were going to go visit one of their friends. And I said, all right. And I used that as an opportunity to get in the shower, while they were gone. Nobody would be beating on the door. Anyhow, I was in there. All of a sudden, they're beating on the door again. They returned home. Because she needed to use the bathroom. So I got caught there. Later on, when they take off and go visit one of their friends, I waited. I waited for at least 20 minutes. Made sure that they were gone. I even looked outside the house, the door, just to see if they were going down the road away, Then I jump in the shower and take the fastest shower I can. Get out of there before they came back home. So I wasn't getting caught again. So I had to do that. I had to get that sneaky. My own mother. The things I had to do to try to keep myself safe, from not being hollered at, cussed at, hit and beating. So I tried to think of things I can do to protect myself, without being cut. So cussed at or hit. I had to get sneaky with my own mother. So after dinner, before I went to bed, I always like to have a snack. Like leftovers from dinner. So I used to go in there and get some leftovers and go in my room and eat before I went to sleep. Well, somehow that didn't turn out good for me either. I know there were some hurtful words said. I know I was denied too. Don't eat, they said. Don't eat. You know. And later on, from all the stuff I had to experience, I'd be in my room. From everything I experienced from my parents, both of them, I used to stay in my room. I rarely ever left my room. But when I'd come out, I had to think, should I stay in my room, stay safe, or should I go out there and hope for everything will be fine? I actually had to think of that. I never thought I'd have to live this way with my parents. What I've, I don't even know what I've done. I mean, I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't unruly to my parents. I listened to them. I did everything they wanted me to do for them. But some of them, sometimes, man, they put me through some of the hurtful events in my life. A lot. When you have people that come and check on you for the beatings you have to go through over years, wasn't just a few years of it. And people worried about you, your well-being. I went through a lot with my mother and father, and my mother mostly. A lot of beatings I took from her. A lot of hollering and cussing at me. That voice sometimes is just so angry and mean. Just made me feel somehow. Just hearing her voice that way. Scared, hurt, frightened. Didn't know what to do. I mean, not much I could do. I was at home with my own parents. My mom probably put the most scars on me. So everything I had to endure with her, I'll never forget. And I haven't. I am 62 years old now. I can still remember some of the incidents I went through with my mom that were hurtful to me, like they happened yesterday. That's so much there in my mind. So everything I had to go through with my mom gave me a lot of hurt, a lot of pain emotionally, but also a lot of physical hurt and pain from being beat. A lot of sadness developed from it in my life. I did suffer alone in my room after I went through everything, beatings, whatever it had, whatever happened to me that day with my mother. I used to sit in my room and cry. Sad, hurting. Wondering why this was going on in my life. What did I do? Sometimes I used to wonder, is this really like this in other people's homes? No. Am I the only one going through this? Or is there other people? I might have even thought it was part of life. I, young boy, I didn't know then, you know. So everything I went through with my mom is probably the worst wounds I have. A lot of beatings. A lot of beatings. Like I said, if I was an unruly child, I could see the beatings being justified then. But I mostly did everything they wanted me to do for them, and then I got beat for it. This started when I was a young boy. The first instant I remember when it started was I must have been about, oh, 11, 12. I joined the Boy Scouts somewhere in that age, maybe 13. Maybe younger than that. Well, anyhow, there was a um, meeting where I was going to receive a medal for something. I can't remember what it is. I told my mom, and I told her to get ready because it's going to be held at the school, in the auditorium. So I said, you need to get dressed and get ready. I said, well, go. Oh, I need to go to this. Yeah, you got to be with me. So she said, all right. And then we left. But she left and she didn't get dressed up. She left in her regular gown. Now I told her, that she should get ready. But she didn't. And when she went up there and my name was said to accept that reward or whatever as a medal, something for being for doing so. I can't remember what I did. But anyhow, I received this from the Boy Scouts. So we went up there and she accepted it. And then we left. And then she got mad at me. She said I shamed her out. I I don't know what to say because I told her, it was going to be at the school and it's a thing I had to go to for my, to receive a medal. That there's going to be a lot of people there. I did tell her all that. Why she didn't get ready and dressed, I have no clue. But I heard about it later on. After it was all over with, how she told me how I shamed her out. She said I shouldn't even came to this. I should have just stayed home, you know. And I told her that she needed to get dressed and ready and changed. She didn't do that. Anyhow, I ended up getting blamed for it. So I ended up quitting the Boy Scouts because of that. I didn't want to be part of that no more. So that's my first and earliest time with my mother. But I went through a lot with her. She put me through a lot. The hollering, cussing at me, calling me something bad, saying terrible things to me, telling me I wish you was never born. The beatings I had to endure from her. And this is all over years. It wasn't just a few times. It was over years. Like I said, I can remember some of them things I had to go through with her, like they happened yesterday. That's how much I can remember them. I did do a lot of crying, a lot of suffering alone, a lot of hurting. I didn't feel bad about myself. Trying to think about what did I do? You know, why do I have to go through this? A lot of crying, suffering, hurting, feeling sad, unloved, unwanted. It was like I was not even cared for by my own mother. My sisters, I had two younger sisters, and both of them had a better relationship than my parents than I ever did. But I went through a lot from my mother. She put me through a lot. And she's probably the one that gave me the most trauma that I can, or that I remember the most. I know I went through a lot in high school with people I went to school with, and from my work experiences. But what I had to go through with my mom, the beatings I had to endure, the hollering and cussing at, calling me worthless, calling me bad things, calling me down, saying I wish you was never born, you know. A lot of hurt and pain I had to go through with my own mother, from my own mother. left me some of the worst scars in my mind. Like I said, I can remember some of them, or mostly, maybe mostly all of them, like they happened yesterday. That's how seared they are in my mind. That's how much I can remember them. I'm 62. That happened in my teenage years. That's how long it's been. How long I've been carrying these memories. A lot of stuff I went through with my mother. And I wonder why. Was I really hated that much my own parents? I mean, my father, he, I did a video about him and he put me some of the worst times too. A lot of hurtful words from him. And I go to the same thing with my own mother. Both of my parents had to deal with a lot of bad times, bad situations, hurtful things they done to me. I still can. I just don't know what I've done to bring that all on me. I wasn't a mean person. I wasn't a child that caused a lot of problems. I never cussed at them. I never hollered at them. I never brought all that on me. Instead, more, I lived in fear. They put me in that place. They're hollering and cussing at me. I was afraid every time that their voices would rise. And there were times I even was around them and hoping things were being okay. When there was no hollering and stuff. Like I didn't want to do anything wrong to bring it on. Try to keep myself safe when I was even around them. When there was no hollering and cussing at me, just didn't want to do anything though. Have that start on me. So I had to worry. I did a lot of worrying. Young boy. I used to have a lot of anxiety. I used to be in the room and I hear that hollering and cussing started. It got so bad I used to cross my fingers. Even my arms and legs. Just hoping and wishing that my name isn't called. When I was, I'd get up and go and take whatever had coming to me. And I was in my room. I wasn't in there causing any trouble. But yet my name would get called and I'd go in there and sometimes just turn out just terrible for me. So my mother put me through some of the worst times in my life, some of the hurtful times, or the most hurtful times, the most. The ones I can remember the most are from her. I guess maybe a wounds that I had to go through with her. So a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, emotional, a lot of sadness, cried a lot, suffered alone. A lot of physical hurt and pain too, from the beatings I had under. But it was no secret in my hometown. People knew. People knew. If someone tried to help me, I'm thankful for that. Well, I guess I'll leave it here. Thank you, and have a good day, everyone.